Hey there, how we doing? Welcome back to another Waste of Dust. So, it's just rotation just hit. It's all new and fresh in standard. The hip kids have hit the block. We've now got the new Rise of Shadows expansion that's just in. How better to celebrate it than by playing the same deck I've played for a year with 2 new cards? 4, no, 2. Just 2. That fix some of the deck's problems and leave the deck building to the masters. Let me reiterate, this is called Waste of Dust for a reason. These decks are created by a level 20 player. I ain't good. I made it to rank 5. That's my highest rank before I attempted to throw my computer on the ground and crush it beneath my foot. My deck building skills are questionable. My skill is questionable. Should you craft this deck? Absolutely fucking not. Are you mad, bro? Are you mad? But if you just so happen to have hit rotation, or you play wild a lot and you've got a couple of these cards hanging around, why not just play some wild and earn some of that fat dust so that you can hit standard sometime in the next year. So, first up we have Forbidden Words. New card. Spend all your mana, destroy a minion with that much attack or less. Now the thing about this, why we've put this in the deck, is it's really flexible. Forbidden Words provides you the ability to kill small annoying enemies like Dart Frog from the new expansion, if that's seeing any play at the moment. It can be used to kill Tunnel Trog. Oh, sorry. That which shall not be named. Tunnel Trog. It can be used to kill that on turn 1 and deal with a surprisingly tough opponent. And that's for like 0 mana, and it's flexible enough that you can reach 10 mana and kill something. It's great. And better than that, Priest has had in the past a problem with dealing with minions with 4 attack. You can deal with things with 3 attack or less, or with 5 attack or more, but someone didn't do the math and left them with the 4-drop open. And it was really annoying for the longest time, but now we have the answer. Reach 4 mana and destroy any minion that has 4 attack. So this kind of covers some of the weaknesses that Priest has had in the past. Makes the deck a lot stronger, I feel. Should hopefully boost this deck's win rate from 0 to 0.5. Hopefully. Awaken the Makers. Quest. Summon 7 Deathrattle minions. Reward. Amara, Warden of Hope. We've just hit rotation. Some people won't know what a quest is, which is sad to think about. I feel old. I feel like I'm getting grey hairs. So here we have a mechanic where you draw at the start of the game this card every time. You can choose to mulligan it, but this is always in your starting mulligan. Your starting few cards that you draw. And you have to play 7 Deathrattle minions. It counts that. Once it reaches that point, it gives you Amara, Warden of Hope. You can only play a quest once. You can't play it multiple times, so you just play the quest, finish it, get the reward, get that cash money. What Amara, Warden of Hope does is it sets your life to 40. Does not affect armor, just health. So this is pretty good against aggro, face decks, things that want to rush you down. It can be anything that does damage to your face. You can just say, you trying to play the game fair? Well, I got Reno Jackson times 3, bitch. And you can show them that you're a scumbag. And Reno Jackson yourself 3 or 4 times with this deck, which is great. You can reset the health counter, and oftentimes that's enough to win the game entirely against aggro. Hence why the quest is in here. It's also good against control when you're in the fatigue matchup. Being able to Reno Jackson 3 times is actually quite helpful there. It buys you a lot of time. And it synergizes well the rest of the deck, which is Deathrattle. So it just seems like a good thing to do. Mind you, this does not play the quest in the traditional way. It's rare that you will ever reach the point where you've played enough Deathrattles. This is relying purely on Xeric's Cloning Gallery to complete the quest. So that's the little caveat or aside. Next up, we have a Deathrattle minion, Plated Beetle. Deathrattle, gain 3 armor. And it's a beast card. 3 armor's good. It's a Deathrattle, it's well statted. It's just a good card to have. 3 armor can really help stabilize. It's a good body, and it makes up for the fact that you are going to be playing behind the curve the entire game. Turn 1 is always Awaken the Makers. Turn 2, you're just spending your time, you know, filibustering and doing nothing. It's setting up for the late game. So Plated Beetle can get a bit of board presence, get you some armor, slow the game down just a little bit to make it more manageable. That's his purpose. Seance. Choose a minion, add a copy of it to your hand. You can use this to copy particularly important minions from either your opponent or from your own deck. So if your opponent plays N'Zoth, you get to copy it for 2 mana. Slightly broken. Or if you're in an aggro matchup and you want to do this kind of stuff, you want to Reno Jackson like 4 times and annoy the shit out of your opponent who's just trying to play the game, you can get the Amara and copy it and give it back to your hand. You can also get Stalag or Fugan and copy them, and if you don't know what Stalag or Fugan does, we'll get to that. But generally, it's a good idea to copy them and use them because they have good benefits on the Deathrattle. You can get it. You can get a second Sylvanas Windrunner. It's already a good card. Why not have 2 of it? It's just good. It helps you double up. Speaking of double up, Shadow Visions. Discover a copy of a spell in your deck. Shadow Visions is really good. Keep it. Absolutely. It'll prove you good in Wild. It can be used to fetch you answers that you need at given times. So if your opponent plays a Tunnel Trog and you need the Shadow Word Pain right now, you have another chance to mulligan it with Shadow Visions, which will get you another copy of it. If they play a particularly big minion, you can fetch another one of them. If you need AoE, you can fetch any of these. If you need value, you can copy Xeric's Cloning Gallery. It's sweet. It is good. So, keep this. Shadow Word Pain. Destroy a minion with 3 or less attack. So this is used, because this is a control deck, this is used generally against aggro decks to get rid of some of their early game. Like the particularly balanced Flame Imp. Well, back in the day would have been used to get rid of patches, but we don't talk about those days, we just forget they ever happened. That's what Shadow Pain operates to do. It gives you a better chance against aggro, it removes some of their answers, it removes some of the pressure off the board. This deck's real fucking slow, man. Real slow. By the time one of these matches is done, the Arctic has melted, and you're up to your face in water. Saying, oh god, it's too late. We should have enacted some sort of global warming policy, but we didn't. But instead, and you haven't even finished one game of Hearthstone. That's the type of game plan we're going for. But here we have Deathlord. Taunt, Deathrattle. Your opponent puts a minion from their deck into the battlefield. This can be used to pull some of the combo deck's pieces and instantly ruin their hopes and dreams. Like pull Malagos and instantly destroy it. That's the purpose of Deathlord. It's a combo breaker tool. It's good against aggro because it just has a huge body and they're running complete trash in their deck anyway, so unless you get real unlucky, you've just eaten a lot of damage with Deathlord for no cost against aggro. So it's good against aggro and combo, occasionally control, because it can be used to thin out their deck and get rid of some of their answers and big minions. Shadow Word Death. Destroy a minion with 5 or more attack. It's generally for taking out, so this card is generally for taking out big minions that you typically wouldn't have an answer to. It can happen, and it does. Arthas, he's a Deathrattle minion. He gives you a Death Knight card. They're typically good-ish. And it fills up a deck slot. This is interchangeable with just about anything. You might even put patches in the deck to raise his win rate, of course. So do not feel the need to include this. So here we have Convincing Infiltrator, Taunt, Deathrattle. Destroy a random enemy minion. So it's basically Obsidian Statue, but a little bit worse. Better for cost though, much better. And that's good for this deck. This deck doesn't want to spend its turn dedicated to Obsidian Statue. It has more going on for it. Obsidian Statue is just a bit too slow. So this instead does the exact same thing as Obsidian Statue ever did, just without the lifesteal and at a cheaper cost. It will, if you just play it on curve, it'll remove an opponent, it'll take off some broad pressure, and slow things down just a little bit. So it's good for that, and it ties into the main game plan, which is do incredibly unfair things, obtain an absurd amount of value all at once, and then steamroll your opponent. So that's what the deck is. It's summon incredibly good death rattles and win the game. Fugan. Death Rattle, if Stalag also died this game, summon Thaddeus. These boys, they might not be good, but I love them too much. I have to keep them in. So what Stalag and Fugan do is they provide you a late game that you ordinarily might not have. Because when these two die, they summon Thaddeus. And if you've never seen Thaddeus, because, you know, Nax Ramos came out like 14 years ago, the thing that happens when these two die is that Thaddeus comes out and he's a 10 mana 11/11 minion. He's fucking good. That's the point. So that's why we keep them in here. They have the chance to be drawn by Xeric's Cloning Gallery, which is just broken. It's broken that you can pull off this combo for doing absolutely fuck all. And summon yourself an 11/11 for no real cost. So that's what Stalag does as well, so I'm not going to cover that. Sludge Belcher. Taunt, Death Rattle, summon a 1/2 slime with Taunt. Again, it's about getting a annoying Taunt minion for Xeric's Cloning Gallery that has a good Death Rattle. And it's good against aggro because it slows the game right down. Sludge Belcher is the most fucking annoying enemy of all time, and the greatest friend of all time when you're playing with him. The 1/2 slime just eats minions. It stops the game. It's great. Dragonfire Potion. This is somewhat interchangeable. You might find other things work better here, but I just felt that the deck needed a bit more AoE, and that might not be the case for you. So Dragonfire Potion is a deal 5 damage to all minions except dragons. So pray you don't run against a Dragon Priest, because then you're fucked. That is what this card text should read like. This is just for raw AoE. So against aggro, sometimes it's not enough to keep the pressure off with Shadow Word, Pain and Death. Sometimes you need to nuke some fools or napalm them. And this is your go-to exterminator. Sylvanas Windrunner. Death Rattle, take control of a random enemy minion. This is an incredibly good Death Rattle, again, to be on a 1/1 from Xeric's Cloning Gallery. And it's just a good card to play. And it's a legendary that I have in my collection that needs to go somewhere. It's a good card. Put it in. Oftentimes you can just play this onto an empty board and the threat alone will stop your opponent from doing anything. It's that good. It's mind control on a minion. That's somewhat conditional, but it has a body. Psychic Scream. I think we all know why this is here. I say that with some with a bit of resentment because I fucking hate this card. Playing against it anyway. Psychic Scream, shuffle all minions into your opponent's deck. It's Twisting Nether, but there is really no downside. The only downside is that it gives your opponent more of a chance in fatigue. But this deck doesn't really reach fatigue, so that doesn't matter at all. So it's basically just Twisting Nether with no downfall. And it costs one less. And it also silences Deathrattle minions at the same time, effectively, by just shuffling them back into the deck. This is Blizzard balance for you, folks. When a class isn't doing particularly well, just print this. Now, Majordomo Executus. Deathrattle, replace your hero with Ragnaros the Fire Lord. So what happens is, after this guy dies, your hero is replaced with Ragnaros, who has 8 health. And your hero power becomes deal 8 damage to a random enemy. This card has a video on it by Kriparian called How Bad is Majordomo Executus? But he's a liar and a hack fraud. He doesn't know what he's talking about. This is a great card. It's not really. When you draw this cold turkey is one of the worst feelings in the world. So Majordomo Executus is part of a broader game plan that makes him good. Because playing him cold turkey, he sucks, okay? A 9 mana 9/7 is bad enough. But the fact that when he's killed, he restricts your health to 8. That's even worse, man. That is so bad. But it's the life we have to deal with. So, ideally, what you want to do is play Xeric's Cloning Gallery and get Majordomo Executus out of this, but have your opponent not be able to kill Majordomo Executus. And how do you do this? Well, with Xeric's Cloning Gallery, you don't just clone Majordomo. You clone Sludge Belcher and Convincing Infiltrator and Deathlord, all of these really fucking annoying taunt minions that get in the way and stop your opponent from killing Majordomo Executus and killing you. That is what the taunts, the Deathrattle taunts are there for. They're there to stop Majordomo Executus from being triggered when you don't want him to be triggered. Like it's just reached a Tumblr forum. So, better still, when you play Xeric's Cloning Gallery, it instantly completes Awaken the Makers, which gives you Amara. Amara gives you 40 health. So, you can on your turn, or maybe your opponent's kind enough to do it for you and not kill you, you can proc Majordomo Executus, you will then go down to 8 health, and then you will restore yourself to 40 health with Amara. That is the basic game plan of this deck. Xeric's Cloning Gallery. Summon a 1/1 copy of each minion in your deck. Now if each minion in your deck happens to be horrendously overpowered, looking at Sylvanas, when they're with their death rattles, you get a lot of value. And suddenly this becomes an excellent card. This is absolutely essential. The deck would not operate without this. You need this. N'Zoth the Corruptor. I have actually found this is somewhat interchangeable. This is great for value, but it says summon your Deathrattle minions that died this game. And guess what died this game? A lot of the time it's Majordomo Executus, and you know what you don't want to happen? You don't want to proc Majordomo Executus again after you've just Amara'd, because what happens is Majordomo Executus will turn you into Ragnaros and give you 8 health. And then you Amara. But then you N'Zoth Corruptor, and it summons back Majordomo Executus. And then they kill Majordomo Executus, and then they just make your Amara entirely redundant, and you drop from 40 health, which is what Amara sets you to 8. Again. So N'Zoth sometimes has some problems like that. But the rest of the time it's summoning Sylvanas, Stalag, Fugan, and Sludge Belcher, and Convincing Infiltrator, and Arthas, for Christ's sake. It's summons some good stuff. Just don't get unlucky. Don't be crip. That's the moral of the story. Now, if we're going to look at this, things that it could be changed, got rid of. Forbidden Words could be exchanged for Potion of Madness, perhaps. Arthas can be exchanged for just about anything. Maybe a Deathrattle minion. This could be exchanged for another form of AoE or something else entirely if you feel like it. And N'Zoth the Corruptor can also be exchanged for something else. We're gonna try again. This time I swear it'll work. I don't swear because I don't know it will work. But it has to work.
Anduin! The light shall bring victory. Light smiles upon the just.
Alright. We don't want any of this against Priest. Psychic Scream maybe, but we'll happen upon it again, I'm sure.
Greetings.
Okay, this time we're gonna get the combos. I'm gonna work as planned. Nothing's gonna go wrong. This is Big Priest. I feel it in my bones. This motherfucker. How could you play Big Priest? It has like no new cards, like my deck. Well, we've got a couple of Shadow Word Deaths. We've got Sylvanas. If he doesn't heal my face, I know he's Big Priest. Because he has no honor. No honor amongst pig fuckers. That was harsh, but true.
I must consider.
All that it would take to make this video a 10 out of 10 is Barnes. Please, play Barnes on 4.
Quickly.
And rope me, you son of a bitch. You're playing a deck with the required brain power of like a potato hooked up with wires. Yeah, it's fucking Big Priest. This is why we didn't play the Death Lord, because he would have been able to get rid of it, and if we got rid of it, we would have been completely screwed. So it's a good thing that we did that. We're actually going to hold on to this for a turn 7 play, so we can get rid of it potentially. Yeah, fucking Big Priest. Okay, he's got to play something now. He's at 10 cards. I don't think he's used the coin. So he uses the coin here and gets that card, which summons a 5/5 copy. Anytime now. Woo-wee! Shadow Essence. Blew my hat off, Captain. So we're gonna do this. When it gets too much, we're just going to psychic it all back into the deck. But as it stands... Alright. Got 9 cards, that's alright. There's Zarek's Cloning Gallery. So the deck might work as intended. What the fuck? That's incredible. I'm elated right now. There's the distinct possibility that we win. or that we stylishly lose?
I wonder.
I'm gonna say that we win. Don't do it. Ah.
Warriors of the frozen wastes, rise.
Now watch this tack. This shit is what we call
Completing.
dozo.
Hand is too full.
How good was that, hey? Play of the century. Who would have thought to kill their own minion? Why are you polluting your pool with plated beetle? Oh, because you're almost... You need to make space. Oh, so do I, my friend. So do I.
None may challenge the living flame.
Here we are. This is generally how it works. When it works. This isn't often, mind you.
Too soon. You have awakened me too soon, Executus.
Take your time. This is the most important decision of your life. Gotta make sure it's perfect. Perfect like that.
Safe now.
Alright. Now we can start to win the game. Or lose the game in a spectacular fashion. Or not, actually, considering we have Death and Decay.
Be still.
Actually, I don't really need to... Oh, I can play Death and Decay.
Hand is too full.
Oh no, not Shadow Essence. What would you do without that? Taunting him. Taunting him like I've won the game. I think, yeah, I played Red Dead Dinner. So what we do now is this. And we keep applying that pressure. Just put it on nice gently and gently. Like you're pushing a pillow over your nice and lovely grandmother's face. Oh, good. I'm glad you got the silence for that. Actually, you know what? That could be helpful. I think we've got lethal in 2 turns, or we've got Sylvanas to kind of take out the trash, but she's got... Yeah, I'm gonna do this. and then put on a couple here. So if he has no way of dealing with this, he's kind of fucked. And we're going to put this down, and we can seance this, so that we can do the exact same thing next turn. This is how the game is meant to be played. And if he summons all of his little cronies again...
Betrayed me.
Stop! Playtime!
Okay, actually, this could do. See how he deals with that. Doesn't deal with it. Alright. So now, we just pretty much win the game.
I have no time for games.
Never any doubt in my mind that we were gonna win this. Who am I kidding? There's never any doubt in my mind that there's the definite potential to lose. Oh, it's thrilling. It's thrilling.
No, your victory proves nothing.
Oh, that was a game. Alright, thank you everyone for joining me. That was fucking fantastic, that last round. It's called the new season. Welcome. More videos to come.